A doctor who has been disabled for 25 years. He really did an amazing job. He injected bat blood in his spine, and to prevent any accidents during use, he also asked his girlfriend to tie 5 of his flowers to the chair. Unexpectedly, in a delicate moment, a scoundrel forcibly entered the house to provoke his girlfriend. That's why his attention was scattered. When he turned his head again, Michael's figure had long since disappeared from the chair. Martina suddenly falls in love with him, and they looked everywhere for Michael. Who knows what will happen next? Michael. Martina recognized him immediately. Michael was a shadow that looked like a ghost. He immediately headed for the steel door of the laboratory, and he tried his best to hit the glass, trying to restore Michael's ability to think. Be why that time it was too late. That criminal died on the spot, and this became the first distinct scene of Michael's transformation. After smelling the bat's blood, Michael was showing some signs of consciousness. He noticed a change in his body. His spirit was broken in an instant, and he went into a state of madness. Michael, stop. Martina was about to get defensive when some mercenaries ran towards her. He ignored Martina's instructions to stop and threw her straight to the ground. This was a big problem. The hardened steel glass shattered into pieces. Michael saw Martina fall. The anger surging in his heart had now become impossible to control. Facing the bullets fired by the mercenaries, he swiftly dodged and attacked. Hurry up. Hurry up, what the hell is that? After a round, Michael turned around again, gathering another layer of ice over himself, and then took a deep breath, opened the door, and began a new round of carnage. The human branch's attack was completely neutralized, and Michael was revealed as a skilled hunter in the darkness. With his sharp claws, he easily killed all the mercenaries. Screams echoed across the vast oceans, and a tragedy was born from the bat's blood. Michael wakes up. Michael felt nauseous. He never imagined that bat blood could turn a human into a monster. Now that the mistake had been made, Michael had no choice but to take care of the situation. He first sent a distress signal and then left with the remaining 2 vials of serum. FBI agents Baldy and Glasses arrive at the scene to investigate. They find that all the bodies have been drained of blood, and they can't think of anyone other than vampires having such a hobby. At this very moment, the bald man saw an origami bat lying on the ground, and a bold guess came to his mind. The accident in the open sea would soon be broadcast on television. When the news broke, Milo was overcome with mixed emotions. He wasn't sure if he was worried for his good friend or upset about the results of the experiment. Anyway, didn't anyone know Michael was gone? It was as if he had vanished into thin air. He had no idea that Michael had returned to the lab, and the next moment, he suddenly felt weak, his legs lost control again, and his throat turned red with thirst. At that moment, he had only one thought: he had to drink blood. He staggered to the cold storage room, pulled out a bag of artificial blood, and drank it in one gulp. The sweet smell of blood wafted up his throat, and Michael regained control of his body. He pressed the countdown button on his watch and began calculating how long each dose of blood would last. As his condition stabilized, Michael also noticed some subtle changes in his body. He could clearly hear sounds coming from dozens of miles away, which sounded like bats. They could run and survive on blood. Michael felt as if he had become just like those vampire bats. When he opened the door and let in the flock, the tiny creatures not only showed no aggression, but instead sat lovingly on his arm. At that moment, his feelings could not be described as shock. Overnight, he not only gained physical strength far beyond ordinary people, but also gained physical strength far beyond ordinary people. However, the downside is that his thirst for blood continues to grow. The artificial blood only lasts for 6 hours, and this time is constantly decreasing. One day, even the artificial blood will lose its effectiveness, and then he will have to drink human blood. The memories of the horrific incident on the high seas were still fresh in his mind. Michael had seemingly escaped the curse of illness, but he had unwittingly fallen into a new one. Humanity prevented him from harming his fellow humans, but the animal instinct within him compelled him to kill. Michael nearly fainted. Tossing and turning, he locked himself in a secret room and tried to mentally control his animalistic instincts. However, he underestimated the newborn's intense desire for food and was unable to find any trace of Michael. He went to the laboratory late at night and coincidentally found Michael curled up on the floor like a wild animal. When he saw someone coming in, Michael could no longer suppress his urges and got up and struggled to write a single word: blood. He's really my oldest brother. Milo immediately understood what he meant. He rushed to the cold storage room at full speed. He acquired Blood River and handed it to Michael. Milo looked at Michael's strong body. He saw a longing in her eyes. You did it. You did it. You found the cure to live. Milo couldn't wait a moment longer and began begging Michael to surrender himself to him. A weak body had shackled his powerful spirit. Milo could feel his body slowly disappearing. He was fed up with his past life and wanted to become as powerful as Michael. However, Michael did not want the same tragedy to be repeated in his brother's body. I've done some things, my love, who knows? Milo doesn't care at all. Those mercenaries already have blood on their bodies. Killing them is the only way to end the world. This is not a crime, but he is very clever. Michael doesn't even want to answer. This is a curse. Sorry brother. Oh please. I need you. It is not safe here. No. Don't force me to go. No. Please, Michael, don't do that. Isaac, I said. Get out. The two brothers separated, watching Milo's shadow run away. Michael is not feeling well. He knows how desperately Milo wants to get well. So at all costs construction of this laboratory, but the other side of health is full of darkness. Existence in one's own body, unable to control electricity. It's enough to bring darkness to the world. This is enough to destroy a person's humanity. The nurse who completed her night duty is now about to take leave from work. Suddenly I felt someone's shadow behind me. I in the long corridor. Light and shadows make real. The potential danger is constantly coming closer. The nurse was scared. I ran to turn on the light, but I found that there was nothing in front of me. New victims emerged. Police reached the hospital for investigation. Their conversation. Michael heard it. I realized something was wrong. He got up and went Out, but I saw a bloodied nurse. Michael's eyebrows furrowed. He felt like he was in the dark. He changed his appearance again and killed someone. I packed my things and was about to leave, but when I reached the bottom I was blocked by the lights and glasses. They were looking for it since yesterday. Fortunately, Martina survived. Although Martina claimed I don't remember exactly what happened, but after investigation they found out Martina and Michael the same ground level laboratory. These two have always been inseparable. In the day of the incident, Michael is missing. People who received the signal. I could only hear a man's voice from the radio. Also included is the bat found at the scene. She immediately fixed her gaze on Michael. As a renowned blood specialist, almost everyone knows Michael is used to batting. You don't look exactly like you do on the news. Yes, you look really healthy. Pull his elbows out. How do you like traveling on boats? Hold fire. Thanks to the ball's amazing bounce, Michael reached the roof of the building in just a few attempts. Just as he was about to leave, a strong gust of wind grabbed him tightly and pushed him upwards. Michael didn't want to hurt her.